Hi guys, this is Raya. This is part 3 of functions. So hopefully you have seen my earlier videos on introduction of functions and also on how to find an inverse of a function. In this session, we're going to learn about composite functions. This session is suitable for GCSE, IGCSE, Form 4 students and similar curriculums. So hopefully you will stay to the end of this session because I will be going through different examples that will help you to do well in your exams for this topic. Feel free to pause the video, have a go, and then come back and check the answer at any time. Okay, so hopefully you enjoy my video and you press like, and also support me by subscribing to my channel. Let's get started. So what is a composite function then? Well, simply is a function that is written inside another function. And these functions could be two or more functions. In real life, it just means there are several tasks to be done before you get your final outcome. Now, how do we get the results? Well, we perform one function, we get results for that function, and then we use that as input for another function. So that's how they work. Now let's just have a simple example here. Let's say my function of x is equal to 4x. Then I have a g of x is equal to, let's say, x plus 2. Now if I say I want to find a function of 2, hopefully you've seen my earlier videos, then you would put 2 where x is, so that's 4 times 2, and the outcome for here is 8. Now I'm going to say, let's find g of 8. What do I get here? Well, my definition for g of x is getting x and then add 2. So my x is 8, so that gives me 8 plus 2, which is going to be equal to 10. Now let's think about what has just happened. Well, we had an input of 2, and then we got an 8, an output. That then become an input for my g of x, and the result is 10. So you can see here there are 2 steps. This is what you call composite function. So you have x, and then you use that as an input to get function of x, and then you use the function of x as input to get g f of x. That's what we've done. We've put f of x into g. We've got 8 and put it there. So composite functions can be expressed like this. So we could write f of gx, where gx is going to be your input. So you put g into f. You could also see this as written as fg. You could also see this as written as f with a little 0 or an o, f or g. They mean the same thing. So g is your input. So question 1, we're told function of x is equal to x plus 9 and g of x is equal to 4x. Evaluate means find the value a, f, g of 2, b, g, f of 2. So what does this mean? We need to find g of 2 and use that as an input and find what the f of x is. Okay, so let's find g of 2 first then. So g of 2, and this is a. So g of 2, the definition for g of x is 4x. So that's going to be 4 times 2, which is equal to 8. So now f g of 2 is going to be equal to, so we are putting g into f. g of 2 is your input for f of x. So now we're going to put, wherever there is x, we're going to put g of 2, which is 8. So that's going to be 8, and the remainder is plus 9. So the answer to this then is 17. And now for B, we are asked to find g f of 2. So let's do f of 2. So we start from the inside going outside. Okay, so f of 2, the definition for function for the f function is x plus 9. So wherever there is x, I'm going to put 2. So that's going to be 2 plus 9, which is equal to 11. Now I've got f of 2. I need to use this as my input and put that into g. Okay, so let's start. G f of 2 is going to be equal to, so my outcome for f of 2 is 11. I'm going to put that into this function, so that's going to be 4 times 11, which is going to be equal to 44. And this is your final answer. And now for question 2, slightly different. We're told given that f of x is 3x plus 1 and g of x is x squared, find f g of x. So we start from the inside going outwards. So we need to put g into f. That's what it means. G into f. Okay, so g is x squared. We're going to put that value into the f function. So let's start that. So f g of x. Now notice that this time you don't have numerical numbers, but it doesn't matter. You just have to put what gx is into f. Okay, so we have a 3. So remember we have f, so we're going to use this function. 3. Now instead of x, we're going to put the g of x, which is x squared. Okay, so I'm going to substitute and put x squared in there plus 1. So this will give me 3x squared plus 1. And this is my final answer. And now for B, we are asked to find an expression for g f of x. So this time we're going to put f into g. F into g. So let's do that. G f of x is equal to, so f of x is this lot here. We're going to put this into x squared. So wherever there is x, we're going to put 3x plus 1. So now this becomes 3x plus 1 squared, because we're going to put that into g. A definition for g of x is x squared. So this is now your x, becomes your x, and you need to square it. Now these obviously are double brackets, so it's not 9x squared plus 1, it's double brackets. So if you expand those double brackets, you will get 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. And this is your final answer for B. And now for C, we're told to solve f g of x equal to g f of x. So we've got f g of x, which is this one here, and we've got g f of x, which is this one here, and we are told they are equal. So solve, it means we need to find the value of x. So what do we have? We have 3x squared plus 1 equals to this lot here. So that's 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. We need to rearrange this. We can see this is a quadratic equation. We need to have 0 on one side. So I'm going to subtract 3x squared and subtract 1 on both sides. And that will give me 6x squared plus 6x equal to 0. Now you can divide by 6 throughout. So that's going to be x squared plus x is equal to 0. Now at this point, don't try to divide by x because that will give you the wrong answer. It's a quadratic equation, so we must have two solutions. Okay, so we need to factorize here. So x outside, and then we have x plus 1 here equals to 0. So you take one of the x and make that one equals to 0. This is one of your solution. And then you take what's inside the bracket. So x plus 1 equal to 0, which means x is equal to -1. So your final solution, then x is equal to 0 and x is equal to -1. And now for question 3, feel free to pause the video, have a go, and come back and check your answers. So let's have a go. We're told a function of f is such that f of x is 3x plus 1. The function g is such that g of x is kx squared, where k is a constant. So we got g of x is kx squared. Given that f g of 3 is 55, determine the value of k. So we need to find k. Now the good thing, we're told g of 3 here. So we can find what g of 3 is. Get that and use that as input into f. Okay, so let's find g of 3. Remember, you need to work from the inside and go outwards. So g of 3, the definition for g of x is kx squared. We don't know what k is, but we know x is going to be 3 and it needs to be squared because that's our definition. G of 3 is going to be equal to 9k. Now we're going to use this as input and put that into f of x. Right, so now f g of 3 is going to be equal to 3, and then instead of x we're going to put 9k, so 9k, and then we need to add 1. So this will give us 3 times 9 is 27k plus 1, but we're told f g of 3 is equal to 55. So all we have to do now is make this equal to 55 and find what k is. So we have 27k plus 1 equals to 55. Take away 1 both sides, we have 27k equals to 54. So k is equal to 54 over 27, which is equal to 2. Now for the final question is an exam question from Edexcel IGCSE January 2016. We're told the diagram shows the graph of y, which is equal to f of x, and is drawn from x greater or equal to -3.5 to x less than or equal to 1.5. We're told g of x is equal to 1 over 2 plus x. Find f g of -3. Now here, people will start to get confused. So we already know we need to find g of -3, which means we can put here -3 and then find what the value of gx is. So let's do that. G of -3 is going to be equal to 1 over 2 plus -3, which is equal to 1 over -1, which is -1. So g of -3 is equal to -1. Now let's find what fg, well, if we've got g -3, so let's just put that down here, fg -3. So that's the same as saying f. We know what g of -3 is. That is equal to -1. So that's the same as saying this. So if you compare this with f of x, what does that mean? Find f of x when x is equal to -1. We come up to our graph and go to x equals -1, which is here, and then draw your line all the way to the graph. So basically, What's the value of y, or function of x, when x is equal to -1? Well, we come up here. When we hit the graph, then we read the value of y, which is 9. So now we can say f g of -3 is equal to 9. All right, so I hope this has helped you. This is grade 8-9 question, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.